Hello everyone, welcome to another video, and in this video we are going to see another example of isolated pawn structure. And this game I have taken from a game between Nikita Vityogov and Viktor Vologon in 2012. And this game, if you look at this position, black is having an isolated pawn structure. Usually whenever we have reached this kind of position, based on the previous games, we might think that there is generally enough counterplay is there to compensate for the weak d5 pawn. But this is a special case where exactly this game proves the opposite thing. The key factor is the lack of black's dark square bishop in this, which is often associated with this diagonal on b8 to h2. And in this game, the more we will go, we'll see that black find himself unable to produce some sufficient counterplay and basically suffered a painful defeat. So let's start in this situation. This position, black has played knight to c5, creating some sort of chances to generate some sort of counterplay with knight a6. White is little bit not developed. Yeah, obviously we have to think that white is having double bishop here. So this bishop is little bit passive and this pawn is little bit weak, but not that much. White has developed the bishop to e2, ready for the short castle. Bishop e2, rook d2, a6. Black is basically preventing any kind of knight b5, bishop b5 jump, or also preparing to get some sort of b5 later on. So now here white has done castle, b5, rook fd1. Usual plan of white. Basically white's advantage is quite obvious. Black is not getting that d4 break, impossible right now, and black is tied with his pieces to defend the d5 pawn. Basically, if we look at it, bishop, rook and knight, they are all defending the pawn. Now in this situation, black has played rook c8, pinning the knight on c3. Then white just sidestepped from the pin, played queen b1, again knight c5, and we will see that black is having lack of moves and lack of counterplay. Now just make a pause for this video and then think about the position. Try to find out what should be white's plan, how white can improve this position from here. White wants the knight on d4. The moment you will see this, you will get the obvious plan. From where the knight can come to d4? It can come via e2 to d4. So what to do? Bishop f1. Okay. White frees the square to e2 and then he is ready to jump on d4. Now black played knight to b3, targeting the rook, rook c2, knight a5. Now ready to go some knight c4, but since the e4 square is taken away by the white pawn on f3, so that idea seems to be quite useful, that okay, I am bringing my knight to c4 here, because usually this knight will go to e4 to generate some counterplay, but here white has taken away the square. So knight e2, definitely there was a chance to play a4 as well. It's an interesting try, but white was playing a little bit safely. Knight e2, rook c2, queen c2, rook c8, queen b1, knight c4 and knight d4. And the moment knight landed on d4, again you cannot take on e3 because rook e1 simply pins the knight and will win this. So knight d4, and this knight is just controlling all the important key square, and this bishop is a bad bishop. We can see here this bishop is going nowhere, whereas this bishop is fantastically protecting the e3 square as well. Even later on when the position will get open, this double bishop will be very useful. So queen to e5, there was definitely an alternative way to continue, which is knight to d7. The idea is bringing the knight to here. So rook c1, knight b6, rook c2. But yes, still we'll be following with queen c1 and b3. We'll be exchanging on the c file, and in the endgame white is definitely better. So queen e5 played, black centralizes the queen, rook to d3, protecting the e3 pawn, knight d7, rook c3, and now white is preparing to invading through the c file. How we'll do that? We'll go with queen c1 and b3. Okay, so rook e8 happened, queen c1, and we are preparing the b3 idea which I already told you. Black played knight f8 in this game, ready to challenge this knight on d4, b3, knight b6, now bishop g3, and now this bishop comes into the game, controlling this strong diagonal, queen f6, rook c7, and once you see that the c file get open, the rook is invading with high power and it's coming with a tempo. Even the white is the one who is controlling the only open file in this board, which is the c file. So last attempt was to play rook c8 here, where definitely after queen c5, maybe h5, queen e7, queen takes, rook e7, black's position is definitely close to lost, because after knight fd7 there is a4 and a5 is coming, and definitely if you go here as well, it doesn't make that much sense, because bishop c7 is so white is completely dominating this situation. And even so black played bishop 8, and again the more pieces you will keep on the board, it will be difficult for black. Rook a7, and black's position collapse. Now we are hitting the weakness on a6, and once the a6 pawn will get lost, and then b5 will also get lost. So rook c8 attacking the queen, rook c7, again rook e8. Here they both have repeated this position, but after the repetition white played queen d2. Definitely there is no point of taking draw, white is completely better. Knight bd7 protecting the a6 pawn, but queen a5, and just look at it how safe the white king is. Black has no such back rank issues, white queen has no way to get entry. The knight on d4 is a perfect and strong blockade in front of the isolated pawn. So black still played rook c1, rook into 8, and white is a whole piece up, and rest of the thing is very easy. Queen g6, black is trying to generate some counterplay, but e4, d4, queen d2, and I don't think that the game has run for a long time. I would stop after queen a5, and I'll tell you that knight c5 also doesn't make any changes, because after b4, knight c d7 and rook a6, we are still winning the piece, and yes, we are threatening on a6 as well. So after queen d2, rook a1, knight c2 happened, rook into f1, king into f1, and queen c6. And if you look at this position, white is a full rook up here. Okay, rook d8, ef3, gf3, queen f3 check, king g1. There is no more check. This knight is pinned. This knight is not generating any kind of counterplay. I would think of something different if maybe this knight is on h3, or this knight is on e4, maybe on g5. Then probably there would be something black would think of. But here these knights are completely tied down. Only one attacking piece, three defenders. White is a rook up even in the long run. Doesn't make any sense. This last few moves are basically some obligatory things. Queen c6, knight e3, white has played, queen b6, whatever he will play, it's completely winning. And queen d7, the final shuttle move, queen into e3 check, bishop f2, queen c1, queen to d1, king g2, queen a3, and queen d6. And here black resigned, because you have to exchange the queen. After exchanging of the queen, you will lose the a6 pawn, you will lose the b5 pawn, this pawn will become a queen. White is a full rook up, no point of continuing, and black resigned. So what are the things we have learned from this? Black's biggest strategic mistake was accepting the isolated position without having his dark square good bishop. Okay, this is one of the thing. So where black, that means Victor Bologan, did not properly assess how little counterplay he would have. Second thing, white's piece arrangement with the pawns, okay, e3, f3, bishop f1, bishop f2, knight d4 was extremely ideal, okay. It covered the most essential squares while maintaining the solid and dynamic position. Third, black did not have any kind of good response against the rook c3, queen c1 and b3 plan, and white penetrated down the c file, and therefore basically black's position was practically lost after some 30 moves. I think after rook e8 that position was completely lost, and there was no such counterplay was there, and even a top player like Victor Bologan could not unable to deliver this. So I hope if you like this video. If you like it, please share with your friends, and if you want to suggest something, please comment it down below. If you found the plan or if you found an interesting plan in this game, definitely tell me. And if you are new in my channel, kindly subscribe. See you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.